In the case of the Vietnam veterans, so many of them returned home to an indifferent or hostile reception. And the fact that, that there were so many of them, especially when I was growing up, still around, as there still are, it's very easy to go and talk to these people and then hear their experiences. And when you hear that again and again, I mean, my instinct was I want to do something about it. If there were any negative associations, that tended to be transferred onto these individuals, right? Not policy, not government. It's, oh, you fought, therefore you are somehow complicit, right? And I think we've moved past that, but it's important for people to understand what these folks went through. So at the same time I'm serving the Vietnam veterans and their families, I think I'm also trying to engage the public.
So, Erik, what is a digital military historian? What does the word digital mean? Does that change the definition?
Well, I'll tell you what it means to me, at least. My concept of a digital military historian is someone who is first a regular historian, trained in all those ways, the research, the scholarship, the writing, but also has the skills of technology like graphic design, geospatial mapping, audio-video production, 3D modeling, all those other skills that I find so helpful in both the research of history and the presentation. So there are other people who probably would say a digital historian could be someone who can work with big data or something, who does a lot of like data analysis. But for me, it is a way to present information in a more interesting and arresting manner.
So, we're always hearing this word truth, right? How
Right.
A historian do you think about the truth? Because you specialize in Vietnam history, yeah?
Right. I am a Vietnam War specialist, yep.
So if we talk about Vietnam, like my little understanding of it is I know about the war from the U.S. perspective. I know about it from the protest perspective, but I don't really know much about it from the Vietnamese perspective. So how do we find the truth in the middle of what is the truth?
Yeah, and that is actually so important because if you only get, one side of the story, that's going to limit your understanding. And in this regard, I've been very fortunate to know several outstanding scholars and translators who have given me and other historians a wealth of information. So after the war, the Vietnamese Army and other services published dozens of their own histories in Vietnamese.
Right.
So people like Merle Pribenow and Robert de Stott have acquired those histories and then translated it. And so now, I have those histories. I'm able to see what the Vietnamese said about, the events in the war. And in addition to that, during the war, the Allies captured hundreds of millions, probably, pages of Viet Cong and North Vietnamese documents, which were translated during the war, and virtually all of them are available online. So you can also look at those sources. And a third source is the interrogation reports. So if a Viet Cong or North Vietnamese soldier turned themselves in or became prisoner of war, there'd be a long debriefing session. And so we also have thousands and thousands of those. So that gives us a much better understanding of what was going on the other side.
But anybody who's looking at a story is biased because they bring themselves to the story. They bring their own experiences to the story, their own perspective to the story. So how do you, as a historian, weed through all of that to determine what we would call the truth is in order to explain it to others?
Right. And it is a challenge because sometimes even when you're just looking at like American sources, sometimes different documents will say different things.
Right.
And so you have to try to evaluate the quality. In some cases, you can figure out why there was an error. In a number of cases, I'm able to do that partly by talking with some of the participants who are actually there and who would tell me, oh, well, the person who wrote that particular report actually got there after, the battle was over, and so didn't have access to all the proper information. But the thing is, when you have, let's say, Vietnamese sources and American sources, and again, they differ, what you have to do is you have to use your deep knowledge of the subject to parse. So, for example, the Vietnamese communist histories are actually quite useful when they talk about their intentions and their preparations and their problems, but they're completely ridiculously unreliable when it comes to outcomes. So they'll say, like, we attacked this American fire base and we killed 300 American soldiers. Well,
right.
I mean, there were only 150 on the fire base to begin with, and we know for a fact that, only like 3 were killed. So the question is, why are the Vietnamese saying this? And it's for propaganda reasons. It's for ideological sustenance for their soldiers, because so often they would take terrible casualties. So so I disregard that evidence. But the other stuff, if you're able to compare it with, say, American sources, cross-reference, and you go, yeah, that's probably approximating what actually happened.
But Erik, I have a question about that, because you said
sure.
it absolutely, we know for a fact. How do we know for a fact? Because that's taking the side of the...
Okay. So for some things, you can place more weight on them than others. So one of the things that I think comes to about as close to an absolute fact as possible are, for example, American casualties. Okay. So in the case of American casualty, when someone is killed, that leaves a record, right? And yes, we have some missing in action, and I've been helping with that project, in fact. But if someone is killed and the body's recovered, then there is a paper trail. There's evidence like where this happened, who this person was. So in that case, when you look at the results of the battle, and the Americans say, okay, we lost 3 killed, you're like, yeah, that's probably right. Now, every once in a while, there would be a discrepancy because the initial reporting did not take into account some kind of information that they found later. So sometimes they'll be like, oh, well, actually, there was a 4th person. But the fact is, all those people are accounted for. And this is not true with the Vietnamese. This is, in fact, a huge issue for them. There are at least 300,000 Vietnamese soldiers who remain missing in action. We have around 1,500 or so, but they have at least 300,000. And because many of the records were either captured or destroyed during the war, it is very difficult for the Vietnamese to know even where those people are buried or what happened to them. And so, again, in that sense, the level of certainty becomes very, very vague. You can only sort of approximately guess when an individual soldier might have been killed. So on the American side, high certainty. On the Vietnamese side, a lot of ambiguity.
Now, why do you study Vietnam? You could study anything, and your background is as a gamer, yeah? So what do you...
Well, yeah.
Why did you get to Vietnam in particular?
Well, I think part of it is, it's my parents' generation, right? They grew up during that era. My dad was in the Air Force for several years, although he was stateside. He went into a special program for medical school. And so he served in California. So he didn't actually go overseas, but that was the time in which they lived. And I was born in 1968 during the Tet Offensive. So I don't remember the war, but looking back in the photos, like even our family photos, they have a certain kind of look. And if you look at Vietnam photos, there's a kinship. And so when I got a little older, I just became fascinated with the war because it just seems so controversial. World War II or the Civil War, the answers appear to be a lot more straightforward. But Vietnam, was all over the place. And so I thought, okay, here's an opportunity for me as the historian I want to be, to actually do something good, to do something original, to help all those Vietnam veterans and families who still have questions, because as they do. And so I figured this is a chance for me to actually make a mark and serve the veterans and actually dig down and maybe untangle a lot of those myths or controversies. And so it was just, it was something that by the time I was probably 12 or 13, I was like, that's it. That's what I want to be. I want to be a Vietnam historian.
And to add to that, you mentioned World War I and II, and, growing up with, the Vietnam era, which I did, like it was also, veterans, soldiers coming back were treated horribly, right? Because it was controversial in the first place.
Yeah.
So they didn't even feel many times that they went to a war that they were supported.
Yeah.
So is that also part of your?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm also 20th century military historian, so I do all that other stuff. But yes, in the case of the Vietnam veterans, so many of them returned home to an indifferent or hostile reception. And the fact that, that there were so many of them, especially when I was growing up, still around, as there still are, it's very easy to go and talk to these people and then hear their experiences. And when you hear that again and again, I mean, my instinct was I want to do something about it, right? I can't right those wrongs, but at least I can answer some questions that they might have, because part of the problem, I think, and this is still a problem, the way they got treated back then was because I think there was still a lot of ignorance about the war itself. So if there were any negative associations, that tended to be transferred onto these individuals, right? Not policy, not government. It's, oh, you fought, therefore you are somehow complicit, right? And I think we've moved past that, but it's important for people to understand what these folks went through. So at the same time I'm serving the Vietnam veterans and their families, I think I'm also trying to engage the public, right? So people who weren't there and didn't have those experiences, giving them a basis to understand and maybe have a conversation with the Vietnam veteran where the two can actually, talk and share, and it isn't fraught with all this tension.
So you get to a certain age, this is what you want to specialize in.
Yeah.
But, Robert Caro says, you turn over the first page, you read every single document, right? So
yeah.
Where do you begin as a historian? You want to look at these things. Are there certain problems that immediately stand out to you, or what's the thread you start to pull?
So again, and this is true for, I think, most professional historians, right? In a way, it's kind of an absurd idea. The profession we choose for ourselves is not like many other professions. Like if you go to school, you want to be an attorney or a doctor or whatever, you're pretty sure once you graduate from school, you'll get a job. Most historians, we have no guarantee. So going through graduate school and the master's and PhD program, you train and learn the field. And so in terms of the Vietnam War, I became, aware of the different fields of thought, competing interpretations. And the way through that is, as Caro says, you have to read and read and read and read just so that you have an understanding of why one historian says this and another historian says that. So it takes years and years and years to finally get to the point where you're able to say, okay, so here's where I think work needs to be done. Here's where something needs to be changed. Here's an area where I would like to do work, but I can't yet. An example of that is we still don't have access to the Vietnamese archives, for example, right? A few people have gotten in there a little bit. But what a gold mine that would be if we could develop a relationship where American scholars could go into the archives in Hanoi and Saigon, and not just for the Vietnamese communist records, but again, the South Vietnamese records are still there. And so this is actually one of my, long-term dreams. And I think we're moving towards that because a couple of years ago, I helped the U.S. Embassy in Hanoi develop a program to share historical information with the Vietnamese. And this is now an ongoing thing. So we are giving information to help account for those 300,000 who are missing. So as you build that trust, then I think opportunities arise. They will be more inclined to say, yes, here, come look at our archives, because they'll know my purpose is not to challenge the political narrative, right, but is to say, okay, facts on the ground, what happened to these people? And in order for us to really know that, it would really help to see a record. So, it's things like that where, there's a chest of buried gold, and you just have to figure out, okay, what's the path to get there? So this is one of the things I'm working on.
That's I was going to ask you earlier about this exact point, which is your point of view still as an American doing this. So how do we then, to what Jesse's talking about, set up this library, if you will, that is impartial and that it is really trying to look at a full picture. Without saying, and of course, politics come into it. It was a political war.
Sure.
That said, it is the ultimate goal to be able to tell a fuller story, and so that you could go in and look and understand, and so a little bit more about what the ultimate goal.
I mean, that is what I want. That's what I've been building towards, and some ways I've done that. For example, in 2014, I started a Facebook group for the Vietnam War. And difficult undertaking because so many of those groups, it can be very rancorous. But I created this group with certain principles in mind that I wanted to develop a community, collaborative, supporting each other. And so that's now grown to over 44,000 members. And so it includes Vietnamese who fought for both sides. It includes South Korean veterans, Australian, New Zealand veterans, Thai veterans, State Department, civilians, Red Cross, all those folks. And so that forum has been one of the ways that I've tried to develop this broader appreciation, because I certainly don't know everything, and I learn something every day from these folks. And so that's part of the technique. And I see this initiative with the Vietnamese, again, if it goes forward, my hope is that it will become an international community where we're able to freely share information. And that is the point, because there are so many stories. And when we say the Vietnam War, one of the first things you say, well, define that. What do you mean? Because different people mean different things. From the Vietnamese point of view, they'd be like, well, which war? Because we've been fighting a lot of wars for a long time. They usually call it the American War. Right. And then, like, what do you define the time period? Should you say when the first US soldier was killed? Or from the time that South Vietnam was created? I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can slice the onion. The point is, it is such an incredibly complex story, and so many of the stories have yet to be told. I mean, for example, the Montagnard tribesmen of the Central Highlands who fought on the American side. So little has been written by them about them, because they're ethnically distinct from the Vietnamese. They had their own aspirations. And they were sort of caught in the middle of this. It's like, well, where are the Montagnard stories? I mean, that would be fascinating. So I just think there's so much work to be done. That is what I'm after. I'm after not just a US-centric or Army-centric, but a truly collaborative enterprise.
Now, have you walked the ground? Like in the Civil War, you can walk all these battlefields, they're all there. Do you walk the ground to try and understand the perspective of what happened?
I finally got to Vietnam in October 2019. I'd wanted to go forever, but because I didn't have access to the archives, I could never really justify a work trip. So in this case, there was a conference that came up, and I'm like, I just got to go. So the conference was, we were going over there, some scholars, and sharing information on how to find missing Vietnamese soldiers. I mean, that was the idea. But when we were there, did the conference and then spent another week or so traveling around. So we went to Hue, we went to Khe Sanh, went to Da Nang and some of those other places along the DMZ. So I did get to actually, walk the ground in those areas. Some of the more remote places, it's still kind of like it was, but, Vietnam has just been exploding in growth and population. So the closer you get to an urban center, the more things have changed. So some of the places just don't really exist anymore. I mean, you would go there and it was a fire base at one point, and now it's a mini mall. So the ability to walk the ground, it varies. I will say this though, one of the most profound things that I experienced was I went to the 50th anniversary reunion of the Hamburger Hill veterans. Right, 3rd Battalion, 187th, the Rakkassans who fought at Hamburger Hill in 1969. And they've been having reunions for a very long time now. So the 50th reunion at Fort Campbell, it was a huge deal. It lasted, for all week. The current Rakkasan commander, Colonel Bowling, helped organize it. It was phenomenal. I spoke to the veterans. I gave them a bunch of information that they had already asked me about that they didn't know. And so I, spoke to him, and it was tremendous. But after the reunion, Colonel Bowling and some of his soldiers took about a dozen of those veterans back to Vietnam, and they went to Hamburger Hill and they walked to the top. And most of those guys had never been to the top because they'd been wounded, in battle, evacuated. And so beforehand, they met with Vietnamese veterans. They actually met the North Vietnamese battalion commander who controlled the forest in the hill. And then they went up and, actually got to the top of Hamburger Hill. And it was a transformative experience. Colonel Bowling afterwards has created, he's taken on himself to get all the awards to the soldiers who fought at the battle who didn't receive them. And you'd be surprised, there's quite a few who never got the medals or decorations because, so many people were killed and wounded that the paperwork just, went away. So he has now come back and, started to do that. But in that case, Hamburger Hill looks kind of like it does. And so you can actually go there and get an appreciation. You have to be careful because if you go off the trail, there's still a lot of unexploded ordnance. I mean, there could be bombs or grenades. So you can't just like waltz around. And we're not even talking about the snakes and the other critters. But yes, if you can walk the ground, it's always, at least just from an emotional point of view, like at Khe Sanh, I went and saw Khe Sanh, on this big plateau, and it was kind of spooky. I mean, there was something about the place that being there now in my head, I'm like, okay, Roger, got it. I understand. I think I understand what those Marines felt like on this base, the mountains overlooking them, going, oh boy, there's nowhere for us to go. So
some of what you're doing here, and so for anybody, but particularly for the veterans, to understand, in the end of the day, it was another human being on the other side.
Right.
And reconciliation of any sort, emotional reconciliation, that they were doing their job, they're being of service, but that ultimately, what is a higher calling of this work? What else can we learn from this work that you're doing, on a much deeper spiritual, emotional level?
Right. And that's, for me, that's very important. And so, for example, when Bowling went back to Hamburger Hill with those veterans, they were there for 4 or 5 days, and initially they meet their Vietnamese counterparts, because it's very formal. They're kind of looking at each other across the table, not really sure what to say or to do. But then, they spend some days together. They climb to the top of the hill. And the last day, Colonel Bowling breaks out some bootleg Jack Daniels, start drinking. And they are just veterans at both sides. They're laughing, they're joking. They got their arms around each other. I mean, it changed, between the first and the last day so much. And that is important to me. That's what I hope will happen, is that people see the common humanity and understand that, at the time there were certain political forces driving events, but, the vast majority of these people were, good, decent human beings. And so if you can strip away the political layers, restore the humanity, I think, the planet is just going to be a lot better off. So that's what I want. That's one of the things I want to do is have these gatherings of peoples. And not just even soldiers. It could be a soldier or a civilian. Another person I know told a story about, his dad had been in the Marines in the war and just never wanted to go back to Vietnam, just never wanted to go back. Finally, his son just convinced him, like, Dad, we're going to go. And so they went, and there's this little shop in Da Nang, and the father was like, yeah, I used to work here, and there was like an orphanage behind there, and I gave him some clothes one day. So the son's like, oh, let's go see if it's still there. So they went, walk in the door. The old woman instantly recognizes the father and says, you're the guy who gave me my, pair of shoes or whatever. I'll never forget that. And, it's powerful. And the father just, broke down, think that by bringing people together, former combatants or people who participated in the war or were affected by the war in some way, and just, sort of have your antenna up. I mean, so you will discover these connections in the most unlikely place. I was at a Disney World about 12 years ago. And I was just in the hotel lounge sitting there, and there was a Vietnamese lady who does the long-term rentals or whatever. And I don't know how it came up, but I just mentioned something. Oh yeah, I'm, Vietnam War historian. She's like, oh, really? Well, my dad was there for, do you know a guy named Nguyen Cao Ky? And I'm like, what, the former South Vietnamese vice president? He's like, yeah, that was my dad's boss. So we started having this conversation. It turns out this lady, her name is Lonnie Anderson, right? It was really Nguyen, but then now her, because she got married in Texas, she did Lonnie Anderson from Texas and told me about her dad. And then I went that day on my phone and found several pictures of her father she had never seen, because I knew who Nguyen Cao Ky was, right? So, it's just like, you just got to be open to having those conversations, and it could happen, in the most unlikely place.
The portrayal of the war has changed over the years, and it seems that it's always an arbiter of how America feels about a certain situation is the war movies in particular, right. The way they're made, right? It's, you see Platoon, and it's like the platoon commanders like killing people it's ridiculous, right? Mm-hmm. Have you seen the a difference in the way the war has been portrayed, and has it become more accurate over time?
Yeah, I think there are broad phases or eras in these portrayals. Like the initial, wave of films that came out. These are like the Deer Hunter and Apocalypse Now, right? I think that kind of really sort of emphasized, the craziness of it, the cruelty, the foreignness, the insanity of the experience. And then you had a second wave in the 80s where like Platoon and Full Metal Jacket and Hamburger Hill, which was striving to be more accurate about the war, but was still in sort of, wrestling with the moral questions, without necessarily answering them one way or the other. Like even Platoon, it's a struggle between, the devil and the angel figures, right? It's not clear cut. And then you had a longer period where you would get movies like, the Robin Williams, Good Morning Vietnam, which was a bit of a comedy, but also, serious. And so I think we're at a stage now where I hope there is a renewed appetite for films about Vietnam, because I think enough time has passed, right, that people's expectations hopefully, will be different, that they'd be more receptive to a different kind of film. Like, for example, a film that was just released, The Greatest Beer Run Ever Told, is a wonderful story based on a true story of this guy from Boston who was in the Merchant Marine, who's decided, hey, I'm going to go to Vietnam and bring beer to all my buddies from the neighborhood. And he did that. And it's played by Zac Efron, and it is, a wonderful portrayal, and Russell Crowe is in it, and Bill Murray. And so, I think that's a good example of a film, which is, like I said, it's looking for different stories. It's not all crawling through jungle, with mosquitoes and, terror. Yes, that's part of the Vietnam experience, but there's so many other stories to tell. So I think we may be hopefully at a stage that we can explore some of those other things. And I think now, after the experience in Iraq and Afghanistan, I also think people are more sympathetic to sort of the plight of soldiers or Marines, fighting in that sort of environment where it isn't Saving Private Ryan, where, the Nazis are just, okay, that's the Nazis, right?
So the nuance.
Exactly. And so I think the public, hopefully sort of gets that now and would be open to more films, because I think there's so many wonderful stories that need to be told.
We've seen stories with Russian, so we can see movies like Come See, which give the Russian perspective, right? We can see movies of World War II. We can see movies of, Fire in the Plains, Japanese perspective of what's happening. Are there similar perspectives that we can see of the Vietnam War from other from Vietnamese filmmakers?
Well, the atmosphere is changing. And a lot of this is driven by concerns about China. So in the last 4 or 5 years, the relationship the United States and Vietnam has gotten a lot closer. And things are possible now that simply weren't before. That said, there are still restrictions on a lot of sensitivity within Vietnam towards the portrayal of the war. So for example, I'm working with a filmmaker, Douglas Sloan, on a documentary about, the famous Eddie Adams photo, the execution, General Luan.
Right.
So the story that most people know or understand about that it's wrong. I figured out sort of what I think is the actual story, which I think is fascinating, but it's not the story people think. So we're doing this documentary, and one of our teammates went out to Vietnam a few months ago. He's Vietnamese, to do preliminary work. So he met, for example, with several people who work in TV production, who have done documentaries in Vietnam for the Vietnamese audience. And they basically said, we would love to do more. And we would love in some cases to sort of like maybe even challenge the narrative, not the political narrative, but certain aspects of the truth. But they kind of want us to lead the way, because they feel it's very risky for them to simply step out on their own. So the shorter answer is there really isn't much that is available at the moment that sort of, we in the United States can watch and go, oh, okay, not like South Korea has been doing this quite a lot. So there's a lot of South Korean films, for example, about the Korean War that are quite good, but nothing like this on Vietnam yet. We're hoping that with this documentary, maybe though, we can crack that door open, because the point of the documentary is not to say, the guy that General Luan executed, it wasn't like, oh, what we're trying to prove is that, I don't know, the Vietnamese government got it wrong when they made, because they made a documentary years ago and it's never been aired. What we're saying is the guy he shot is actually not the guy that they say it is. It's this other guy, and let's recognize that other guy because he had a family, right? I mean, he was a person that we should honor. And so I think that's the thing that's going to appeal to them is, yes, okay, let's talk about the person and the family and then give some closure to them. And so I think that's where these storytelling opportunities will come from, is honoring the service of the Vietnamese soldiers who fought. That's what we're going to go for.
The truth, has it, all this time you've been studying this war, have you gotten to a deeper understanding of what the forces were that occurred there?
Yeah, I have. And part of this again goes back to my use of digital techniques. So when I first joined Center Military History and started working on my book on the 67, 68 period, I had a gazillion documents all on my desk, and some paper maps I try to dry out. And after a while, I'm just like, this is nuts. How can anyone keep this straight in their head? So like, I got to do something different. So I was already a video gamer. I was a computer guy, all that was natural. So I'm like, okay, let's look around. And this was, 2006, 2007, we had Google Earth. So I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you could take a digital map and put it on Google Earth? And the first time I did that, and it skins on, I was like, holy, this is the grail. This is it. And so right. From that point, I did that. So I now skinned, all of southern Vietnam with the contemporary maps, right? And I have that on one of my monitors while I'm writing. And so by doing that, and you're doing different overlays of information, then the insight comes when you're like, oh, okay, so that is the enemy supply line going this way. And that's, the road. That's why they keep fighting in this particular place. There's no document that will tell you that. But if you, right. Overlap the stuff, you're like, oh, that's what's going on. So then you begin to get a sense and a rhythm, because if you just look at a two-dimensional map of Vietnam, it has the administrative borders, but it doesn't tell you anything really.
You're looking at topography as well, right? So
and that's why Google is wonderful. Yeah.
And so my question is about all that, which is kind of amazing. Are we changing the way that we are understanding and writing history. In other words, Jesse, referred to Carol's books and, all the incredible work that people have done, but now we have this added dimensionality,
right,
which you're doing. And what is the goal here? I mean, and how do we make sure, moving forward, that there's still, as best as possible, like a commitment to, is just the truth, the fact,
right,
the story. How do we protect that? There's so much, misinformation, or people, take digital assets and manipulate them to tell the story that you want. So how do you think about that in the context of
and this? Yeah, that is an issue. I mean, it's something I wrestle with, because one of the things I do is I do digital photo restoration, right? So I take old photos and clean them up. And some people might say, well, you're altering them. Well, if you really want to get into an intellectual discussion about digital assets, everything digital is already altered. Okay, so there are ways to negotiate that. In my case, I'm very upfront. Like anything that I touch and put out, I note on the thing, altered or enhanced or whatever by Erik Villard, So the original still exists, somewhere. I don't touch the original. I'm just saying, for my purposes, I want to just take out the blemishes so you can actually see the thing. So what I'm trying to do is use all this technology, and I actually am doing this now. So this hasn't been in the past. So here's my, the book that I wrote, right? It's, 680 pages plus footnotes and everything else. You need that scholarship, but the average person isn't going to pick that up, right? So what I'm trying to do is integrate all that information into like this interactive geospatial environment, so someone can go to a website and like, oh, they can, I just want to, like, my dad was in the 4th Interdivision. So they type in the search parameters or whatever, and then you can focus on that area, and you can click on an icon and boom, a picture comes up of a unit. Or boom, you click on thing in a document coming up, or a link to the original document, or a video plays, or within Google Earth, it's very cool. You can embed photos. So photos taken from the air, I figured out, georeferenced them and then embedded them. So you click on the thing and it'll zoom in. You're like, oh, so that was Hamburger Hill looking from that direction on that day. So it's like a portal in time. And so by using these techniques, what I'm trying to do is create these educational tools so that you can experience and learn from these events in a way that isn't just text and linear, right? It's because people learn different ways. Some people are more spatially oriented, some people are more, audio oriented. Let's reach out to all those folks. So it's basically giving you a choice. Well, like, where do you want to go? I mean, this is my gaming experience comes in. You play an open world game like Grand Theft Auto. First time I played it, blew my mind. Like, I can go anywhere, like that mountain, or I can actually go there. If I just want to drive around all day, I can do that. So that's kind of informing my thinking, where you still have storylines. Like, if you want to follow the story, the Tet Offensive, you can do that, but you can do it in a number of different ways. And especially for a younger generation that's used to video games and TikTok videos and all this other stuff, I think this is going to be more appealing. And again, it'll be existing online and growing and expanding. So it will always be accessible. And again, translated into different languages with different contributors. That's kind of my vision, is where this is going, is a thing, a living sort of teaching mechanism. So that's why I'm trying to bring all these design elements. And like I said, I'm just constantly experimenting with things like this background. That's what I called a remix. It's the original photo is black and white. And it was given to me by photographer Ken Pollard, who was there in Saigon in May of '68, an incredible photographer. And he gave me all of his photographs shortly before he took his own life. So, these photos were very important to me. This photo is actually showing a unit that Chuck Hagel was in, Senator Chuck Hagel, Secretary of Defense. So I did a remix. So, running a few filters and stuff, I just created this sort of color pattern. And, I'm not saying, oh, that's the original photo, I'm trying to fool you. I'm just saying, for me, it's, it just brings out a mood. And so like these other things, like right here, that's an icon, like sort of my badge. It's actually the Battlestar Galactica image with a Pathfinder, Army Pathfinder image in the middle and a compass. So I just designed it. And so in my Facebook group, that was my icon. So, you know, whenever I would post, I put out my Pathfinder shield and people would know it was me, you know, or in the lower corner down here, that dragon. I created that dragon icon for the 18th Airborne Corps because they were doing a innovation contest. So I designed this dragon and then printed it out in a mug. And so the winner got a mug with this, you know, custom dragon design. You know, you're just messing around, trying different things.
So Erik, this has been really interesting, very important work that you're doing. Thank you for coming on.
Sure.
And hopefully, you know, kind of creating a new field here. We're very happy that you were able to join us today.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, appreciate the opportunity. And like I said, just, you know, keep your eyes peeled. You can follow me on, you know, all the social media, but just Google my name or Erik the Historian. You're going to find a whole bunch of stuff.
Thank you so much, Erik.
Thank
Take
you.
care.